It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you like pudding. What is up, gays? I am back with another video, and today we are doing a review that has been a long time coming. If you guys use Tumblr, or you're like me and you use Instagram to see screenshots of Tumblr, you might have seen a little list floating around. And this list had, I believe, 6 LGBT Christmas movies that were coming out this year. 2020 is the year for the festive gays, apparently. 3 out of the 6 were lesbian Christmas movies, and I was very excited about this, and I was like, I'm definitely gonna watch these. And as I was watching the first one, I had an idea. Why don't I make a review? So the last one just came out today. I just finished watching it, and now we are going to review some lesbian Christmas movies. Now, my expectations weren't extremely high, but I still found myself disappointed. These movies range from wildly homophobic to mediocre but still kind of cute. So without further ado, let's do this. Now, I am going to be talking about these in the order of which I've seen them. So the first one I watched a few weeks ago and didn't take many notes on because I was just watching it as a viewer and not a reviewer at the time. But I still remember it pretty vividly because it was a strange one. Now, I am going to be rating the movies first and saying whether or not I think you would enjoy them as the average viewer before reviewing them, just in case you want to avoid spoilers and skip that part, and I will be putting timestamps below so you can choose to watch this spoiler-free if you're so willing. So the first movie is A New York Christmas Wedding, which was released by Netflix, and I'm going to give it 5 out of 10. It did seem to have a good-sized budget. The only complaints I have is the movie was just completely fucking strange. It was so strange. So I would say if you are interested in Hallmark movies already, you watch Hallmark movies from time to time. This isn't a Hallmark movie, but it's very heavily inspired by the concept. I think you'd enjoy it because I know those movies tend to be kind of strange and out there, and that's kind of what you get. So if you're used to that kind of thing and you want to see an LGBT version of that, I would say go for it. Also, it deals a lot with not just Christianity in general, but Catholicism overall. So if you are a Catholic lesbian, this is the movie for you. So without further ado, let's get into the spoilers. The way this movie was described by Netflix is I think it just said something vague like, a woman finds out what could have been after reigniting an old fling prior to her wedding. I was just assuming that this was gonna be like, oh, okay, well, she meets up with her old childhood friend again, and they start an illicit affair, and there's gonna be, like, drama when the husband finds out and stuff like that. I was down for that. It is so much weirder. We start out with her getting into a fight with her husband and his family about their wedding, which is going to be on Christmas Eve. And she storms off. She does not have a good relationship with Christmas because both her parents passed away around Christmas, as well as her childhood best friend. She storms off and watches a flaming homosexual on a bike get hit by a car. And it turns out that this man is an angel sent to show her what could have been if she hadn't broken off her friendship with her best friend from high school. So she wakes up the next morning in bed with the 30-year-old version of her former best friend. Obviously, she is alive, and they are in a relationship in this universe and are going to get married. And then also her dad is also alive, but her mom isn't. Not really, like, quite sure what the semantics on that are. And in this alternate universe, her fiance really wants to get married in a Catholic church, the Catholic church that they grew up going to in Queens. And so there's a lot of tension with that because the priest that they grew up with is hesitant to marry them in a Catholic church because, you know, Catholic church. And at the end, they do end up getting married, but right as the clock strikes midnight, she has to go back to her old life. And she's talking to the angel, and she's like, I'm not ready to go. I want this reality, which, like, obviously, the entire time that you're watching it, you realize that there's some kind of ticking clock. It's just so dark of a concept for what's supposed to be like a romantic comedy Christmas movie. The entire time in your back of your head, you're like, these people are zombies. At the end of the 48 hours, back in the other reality, and she's with her fiance, and they go back to the church in Queens where she had gotten married in the alternate reality, and they find out that, bear with me here, they find out that after she stopped talking to her best friend, instead of confessing her love, her best friend had sex with this really awful guy, and because her parents are strict Catholic Italians, they sent her away. But she gave birth to a stillborn, which is so fucking sad, and then because of that, she throws herself in front of a car. This is so weird and depressing. But then she meets up with the angel, and you find out that the angel is the dead gay baby of her high school lesbian lover. The angel was the stillborn baby. And he says, we can make a deal. You can stay in that reality the rest of your life, but I will no longer exist. And she's like, aight. Okay, let's do this. The last scene in the movie is them going back, and they're both their high school selves, and instead of hanging up on her that day, she confesses her love to her, and then the whole reality is changed, and they go on to live their happy gay Christmas wedding lives with her father still being alive for some reason. I don't know why her, like, being in a relationship keeps her father from dying. They don't really specify that, I'm pretty sure, but you know, at least it's a happy ending. It's like a very, very strange subversion of the bury your gays trope, but it's kind of like bury your gays and then unbury them and then bury them again and then finally unbury them. So I don't really know if it counts. So yeah, if you are a Catholic lesbian who loves weird angel allegories with alternate universes, this is for you. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one I actually watched twice, one by myself and one with my girlfriend, and it is one of the worst LGBT movies I've ever seen, especially coming from such a big company and seemingly having a lot of LGBT people working on it. So this is The Happiest Season, starring Kristen Stewart, and I am going to rate this a 1 out of 10. I would not recommend you watch this. It is absolutely just insulting to its LGBT audience, and I will get into that more. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers, but unless you want to be horrified and shocked by how bad it is, I would say just watch the spoilers. Like, it's not even... Don't even. I can't. I can't already. I haven't even described the movie and I already can't. So this movie, if you have not heard about it, is about a closeted woman who invites her girlfriend to Christmas with her family and lies to her that she's out to her family when really she's not, and they just shove each other back in the closet for the entire movie. So the first thing is, there is no chemistry between the main characters, despite them, like, kissing and being in love the entire time. It actually made me respect Kristen Stewart a little less as an actress, if we're being honest, because I've seen her in other things where she has a male love interest, and she seems disinterested and not acted very well, but I've kind of just chalked that up to her not being comfortable with her male counterparts. Like, I liked her as a person. Whenever I'd see her on SNL, I thought she was funny, so I was just like, yeah, I like Kristen Stewart. This made me not like her. Like, there is just nothing there. Her performance was so flat the entire time, and I get it, that's kind of like her thing, but it was just not doing it for me, especially in this, like, romantic comedy movie. The second time we were watching it, me and my girlfriend were saying she seems like she wants so badly to be a serious actress. Like, we think she'd be good in something like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where she can be, like, super badass and, like, stoic. Just, I don't think she's well made for these kinds of like comedies. But the shining light of this, it was that Aubrey Plaza was actually in this movie, and they actually seemed to have a lot of chemistry. Seeing Aubrey Plaza play a lesbian, like, made my heart sing. And yeah, they seemed like they were doing really well together, but I will get more into that later. Another thing about this movie is that the main relationship is just so extremely toxic. Even when you don't like take into account the plot of the movie and how it's like based on her lying to her girlfriend and putting her in a really difficult situation for like a week, they just are so weird together. And I know that lesbian relationships do not have to be perfect all of the time in media. I feel like we put a lot of pressure on LGBT movies because there's so much less of them that we want like everyone to be like the best example, but they're just bad. Like, I can't justify it. Abby, which is Kristen Stewart's character, is like weirdly jealous of her girlfriend's boyfriend from high school, even though her girlfriend is a lesbian, and again, it was like a high school relationship. It's just very strange. I don't think that's very realistic. Me and my girlfriend had a lot of, like, opposing viewpoints on this movie. Like, we both hated it, don't get me wrong, but we hated it for a lot of different reasons. I found myself wanting to be very forgiving of Abby's girlfriend's character. I can't remember her name. I'm just going to refer to her as this is Kristen Stewart's girlfriend. I found myself to want to be very forgiving of her, even though she did lie to her girlfriend and put her in a situation that no one should be in, because like homophobia is real, and I understand not wanting to lose your family. That's what she felt like was going to happen if she came out to them. But my girlfriend was just like, no, she sucks. Like, they suck. They both suck. And I was like, yeah, they both suck, but Abby is also like shitty. And then she's like, oh, but Abby's girlfriend is shitty like this. They're all just shitty. There's at one point where you can tell that Abby is really like stressed out and sick of having to pretend, and like being with her family is just really stressful. So Abby's girlfriend is like, let's have a special night out together. I feel like we haven't gotten to spend any time together. Abby isn't really feeling the night out that they're having. She's just not having a very good time. And she's like, I don't know, I kind of just want to go home. And then her girlfriend, who asked her to have a night out together, is just like, you know what? I want to stay for a little longer. And then she ends up hanging out with her ex the entire night and not coming home till 2 a.m. and never texting her girlfriend to make sure she's okay. Like, so shitty. The girlfriend's name is Harper, by the way. I just looked at I just checked my notes. My notes literally just say, Harper is gross. Like, the next morning, she's just super mean to Abby. She's like, why are you mad at me that I stayed up till 2 a.m. with my ex and never texted you back or let you know I'm okay? You're suffocating me. She says that she's suffocating her, but like making sure she's okay. It's trash. They just don't seem like they like each other at all. Like, I don't get this relationship. Harper actually has another ex from freshman year of high school, so they were what, like 14? This is Aubrey Plaza's character, and Harper actually did the exact same thing to her that she's doing to Abby right now. She was dating her and then lied about everything once people found out and made her feel like shit and just never spoke to her again. So there's this moment where Abby and Aubrey Plaza's character are in a bar together, and they're talking about how they've both been hurt by Harper, and the entire time I'm thinking, they have so much more chemistry. If Abby decides to let go of Harper's toxic ass and just goes with Aubrey, like, that's a movie that I would want to watch. Like, it's perfect. They could both bond over Harper being shitty to them, and Aubrey is a doctor, by the way. Her character is a doctor, and they could just have a happy life where they can both be themselves and not have to lie to people. I honestly think it would have been a way better movie if that had happened, or even if they had just changed Harper's character to be played by Aubrey Plaza. Like, she was the gem out of that movie, and if there was just more of her, it could have been better. Another character that my girlfriend was super excited about, there is a gay best friend character who is played by Daniel Levy, and she really likes him from Schitt's Creek. I honestly kind of dislike him. I just find him very irritating. In my notes, I just put Daniel Levy. Fucking annoying. But I understand that he's some people's sense of humor, and if you like him, you probably like parts of your character in this. But honestly, there is just some parts that make no sense. There's one part I did like, one redeemable moment, where she's texting her girlfriend from the other room, and she, like, sends her a selfie, and she does the, like, gay peace sign. I feel like that was a good touch. I feel like Christian added that in. She know we like to gay shit. Despite the terrible plot, the zero chemistry, the annoying actors, the ending by far was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was a mess. So the entire movie is culminating up to this big moment where Abby feels like Harper is ashamed of her for not coming out to her family, which is such a trope in LGBT media at this point. Like, it's almost funny. Like, I feel like these situations don't happen that often. I feel like a rational lesbian couple would just be, like, communicating with each other and be like, hey, I'm not out to my parents. Maybe you shouldn't come. Or, hey, I'm not out to my parents. Maybe you should pretend to be straight. But if you don't want to, that's okay. And the girlfriend would either be like, you're right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be put in that situation. You shouldn't feel like you have to choose between me or your family. But, you know, instead it's drama and it's terrible. It's just terrible. So Harper has two sisters. One is named Jane, and I thought maybe this was just in my head or I was being too sensitive, but, like, I talked to someone else about it and they felt the exact same way. Jane's entire character just seems to be, like, mocking someone with autistic traits. Like, she's socially awkward, she has very intense special interests that it's, like, the only thing that she wants to talk to people about. And everyone just seems so annoyed and, like, they don't even like her, and that she's just, like, the butt of every joke, and it's honestly just so sad and, like, depressing that this is, like, a character trope in 2020. The ending, Harper's sister sees Harper and Abby kissing and immediately is ready to out her sister to a group of, like, 50 people, all of their family and friends, when they know she is extremely closeted. And then this slapstick, like, Tom and Jerry chase scene happens where they're, like, running through the halls ready to tell each other's secrets. Like, the sister is going to get a divorce and Harper is gay, and they just act like those are completely comparable situations, and they are just, like, chasing each other and hitting each other to get to the family to tell each other secrets. And I think we're supposed to be laughing at this part, but it's just one, the physical comedy isn't funny, and two, you're about to watch someone be violently outed to a ton of people, which is one of the worst things that you could do to someone, and is, like, blatantly homophobic, and they're just, like, treating it as a joke. Like, that's the punchline. And surprise, the sister gets there and outs her to everyone and says she's a lesbian and dating Abby. Then Harper is obviously very hurt, and she's, like, crying, and she says, she's lying, I'm not a lesbian. And then Abby sees that train wreck of a situation and is like, I can't believe she would lie. Like, it's totally not that she was put on the spot by her sister who's violently homophobic. And she just leaves. And then the gay character, Daniel Levy, who has been used as comic relief up to this point. And the thing is, he's meant to be comic relief, but he's also very judgy of Abby and the entire situation. And he's like, I can't believe you're letting her shove you back into the closet. This is not right. You need to come out to everyone immediately. But then his character does a complete 180 and is, like, comforting her, and Abby's like, I can't believe she feels like she needs to hide from me. And then he's suddenly like, Harper's not hiding you, she's hiding herself. What did your parents say when you came out to them? And she was just like, that they loved and supported me. And he's like, my dad kicked me out of the house and didn't talk to me for 13 years. Which would have been, like, a oh shit moment, like, oh my god, he's right, I can't blame Harper for this. But where is this coming from? If you were kicked out of the house and your father didn't speak to you for 13 years, wouldn't you be a little more understanding of Harper, who is afraid to come out to her family, instead of judging her the entire movie and then completely flipping to be the convenient voice of reason at the end? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then the resolution is finished by Harper coming out to her entire family and being like, actually, my sister wasn't lying. I am a lesbian. And she comes out to everyone and everyone's a little shocked, but then they're fine with it. Whatever. The entire time I was on the edge of my seat, not in a good way. I was just like, if she forgives her sister for this, and she does, she just immediately goes like, I'm sorry. And then Harper goes, oh, I'm sorry too. Like they did the same thing to each other. Like, I don't know why these writers are just acting like one of the worst things you could ever do to a gay person just needs one little apology and then you're all a big happy family again. Like, I don't understand how anyone could think that, and apparently it was written by an LGBT person. Like, I don't get it. I cannot believe that they would just do that and make it seem like it's okay. Like, I feel like they had a bunch of horrible, serious things happen, but then because it's also a comedy, they like just smoothed everything out way too fast and just made everyone seem like a terrible person. That's it. It's just a terrible movie about terrible people and they all deserve each other. Except for Aubrey Plaza. So basically this movie was a train wreck. And I cannot believe it came out in 2020. Like, I feel like this exact movie could have came out in like 2008 and it would have been slightly progressive then, but it's just completely outdated and wrong now, and I don't think I know a single lesbian who enjoyed it or didn't find it in some way wildly offensive. So, you know, 1 out of 10, fuck that movie. Let's move on. The last movie I just finished watching, it was I Hate New Year's, and I honestly think it was the best one out of the bunch, despite having a pretty low budget and not even really being a Christmas movie. I should have known by the title that it wasn't a Christmas movie because it's called I Hate New Year's, but I thought it would be about both Christmas and New Year's, but the entire thing takes place on New Year's Eve, so oops. But I think it still counts. It's a holiday movie. I would give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I would recommend watching it, but it is $6.99 to rent. Do I think it's worth that? I would say so, especially because it seems like it's from like a small independent company that specifically makes LGBT movies, and I would say it's good to support them. And there are not a lot of spoilers ahead, honestly, because there's not a lot to spoil. It's a pretty fairly like predictable movie. It is actually only an hour and 15 minutes also, so that is kind of pricey for not really a full-length movie, but I still think it's pretty good. And this is probably the most family-friendly movie out of the bunch. There's nothing really inappropriate that happens. There's not really any swearing either. The only thing I could think that really happens is like there's drinking of above age people. I would consider this movie PG. I don't know what it was actually rated, but this is definitely something you could watch as like a family movie or with your like nieces and nephews and stuff. It is made by Tello, which is an LGBT production company that I had never heard of it up until this point, but it was cool learning about them and learning about the cast. Plot itself is pretty flimsy. So the main character is Lane, and she needs to write new music, but she has writer block. She lives in LA. She's kind of like living the dream as a famous LGBT musician, and her agent sends her to a psychic to try to get rid of her writer's block. And this psychic says that she needs to go to Nashville, where she's from, to get her mojo back and to reconnect with someone whose name starts with a C. So she's going there to visit her best friend, whose name is Cassie, and Cassie is very obviously, from the first time you see her, in love with Lane. But the problem is, Lane's ex is also named Caroline, which also starts with a C, so the entire time she's thinking about her and not her best friend that's right in front of her. It's kind of just like wacky adventures happening as they like go from place to place trying to find Caroline, and Cassie is just like completely simping, but Lane is oblivious. It's cute. So some problems. The main actress, and honestly like most of the casts acting is pretty stiff. But Ashley Argata was actually really good and really cute, and I think that's because she's well versed in acting in general, which the other main actress I don't think is. I'll get onto that later. But you may know Ashley from True Jackson VP, and she's been in like a dozen other like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon sitcoms. She's not new to acting, and she's not new to like comedy type situations. She is also a musician in this. The performances she does are amazing. I did not know that she was such a good singer. It's very well done. Just everything about her character is amazing, and she's gorgeous, and I am gay. Another thing that I noticed, especially in the beginning scenes where they're hanging out at Cassie's house, is the character's makeup is really well done, except for the foundation. Like, it's so yellow. You can tell they must have had like a really like pale white makeup artist doing these women of color's makeup, because like the foundation is just, it's off. But yeah, there's a part where Lane and Cassie are like performing together at a karaoke bar, and since they're both famous, they're like spotted together, and social media starts blowing up, and they're like shipping each other. Their ship name is Lassie, and it's really cute seeing all of the like LGBT kids on social media like shipping them on Twitter, their version of Twitter and Instagram. It's really cute, and like the tweets and stuff seemed really accurate to how like Stan Twitter talks. Like, it was just really cute and funny. I like that little thing. I felt like I was pretty judgy at first of the more cheesy elements of the movie, but the movie just doesn't take itself seriously, and it's really self-aware. There are just so many like cute, funny moments where they're just like poking fun at themselves that like I can't really blame it. The only thing is, for being a music-based movie, they use like royalty-free background music for like everything, and it reminds me of like YouTube music when like something sneaky is happening, and the captions will say like quirky background music, and it's lame. Also, there's a lot of performances since all of the characters are musicians, and the music is just bad, cheesy pop music, which is cute in some situations, but when it's like constantly happening, it's a little much. And it's pretty obvious that they're trying to spotlight Lane's actress as like the rising star of this movie. Like, they're hoping to give her music career a little notoriety, but I honestly think that would have worked better if they hadn't written the music specifically for the movie and had used some of this actress's own music, because I'm sure it's good. Just the lyrics were really bland. Okay, wow. I just looked up the actress, and her name is Dia Frampton, and I'm like looking at her Wikipedia page, and she's best known for her band Megan Dia. Y'all. That, I was like, that sounds so familiar. This is the band that wrote Monster. If you were an emo 13-year-old at any point after 2006, you know this song, or more likely you probably know the Nightcore version, but the original slaps too. So that's really interesting. Like, I don't know a lot about like acting, and especially in a small movie like this, I wasn't expecting to recognize so many people, so that was interesting. Overall, it was just a cute, short New Year's movie that I found really cute and entertaining, and I feel like watching that after watching Happiest Season just goes to show how big of a difference there can be when you have a small LGBT run cast and crew versus a mega corporation like Sony trying to cash in on the LGBT community. Like, the Happiest Season just feels so soulless, and the entirety of it just seems like it's geared towards straight people. Straight people in the movie find comfortable. It's all about trying to please them. And also, homophobia is like the main plot point. I feel like straight writers see LGBT people as a conflict, and that's why we get so many movies that are just sad torture porn of LGBT people, especially lesbians. And so that's why I was so excited that there were 3 new LGBT Christmas movies coming out, because they would be like fun and lighthearted, which we don't get very often. The writing in the Happiest Season, like, it just used all of the sad parts of being gay for drama, and then it just ended up being a very straight view of what it means to be a lesbian, even in a comedy that's supposed to be lighthearted. I Hate New Year's, like the entire cast, they met up with like 6 or 7 of their friends throughout it because they're like reconnecting, and literally every single one of them was LGBT. And there's no conflict about them specifically being LGBT. There's relationship drama, but it's never really mentioned that there are problems because they're all women. They just exist as LGBT people with completely normal relationships, which is usually the case. I'm not constantly thinking when I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, or watching movies with my girlfriend, or going to the store with my girlfriend, or fighting with my girlfriend, like, oh, this is so cool, we're lesbians, Like, it's not that deep, and it's not like we're constantly fighting an uphill battle, we're just living our lives. And that in itself is a privilege to be able to think like that, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have LGBT movies about people's struggles and what they've been through, but not everyone has to end up tragic or deal with homophobia and being sad the entire time. So that was my review of these lesbian Christmas movies. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my gay Christmas tree with my vintage McDonald's and Powerpuff Girls memorabilia. I hope you enjoyed this long skirt that has been peeking out. That doesn't match this outfit at all, but I was wearing pajama pants, so yeah, let me know if you found this movie review interesting, and if you want me to review more LGBT movies or just movies in general. I found this really fun, and I hope you guys liked it. So without further ado, I will see you guys next time. Bye! Unless you like pussy. Oh, that's so vulgar. I'm like, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Unless you like